Well, many DACA recipients have been stepping up to help advocate for others feeling the impact of the Trump administration's federal immigration enforcement, but they're also feeling uncertainty themselves. Krsna Avila, attorney and legal director of Path to Papers, is here to dive into the issue with us. Krsna, thank you for joining us this morning.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
So, Krsna, first of all, tell us how DACA recipients are feeling about watching all of this unfold, even as they hang in limbo themselves.
Yeah, well, first of all, taking a step back, just understanding that these are people who came to the U.S. as children. They grew up here. They call this country their home. Many were brought by their parents with no fault of their own. They have lived here for most of their lives, and many of them have families themselves. So, of course, right now they're feeling the threat of this administration, like everyone else. The government has promised to protect them from deportation, and what we're seeing today is the opposite of that.
Yeah, and the administration moved recently to end temporary protective status for nationals of Afghanistan, Cameroon, Haiti, Honduras, Nepal, Nicaragua, Syria, and Venezuela. So does that concern DACA recipients about their future as well?
Yes, absolutely. This is a promise that was made a few administrations ago. We knew back then that this was a temporary solution, and sure enough, what we're seeing since then, it's caused constant threats of termination, and that's kind of where we're at right now. This administration has tried to get rid of this program, which ultimately will lead them in a vulnerable state of being arrested and ultimately at risk of deportation.
Yeah, Krsna, you said it correctly there. This was meant to be a temporary solution during the Obama administration, but no movement has been made to improve the status and give DACA recipients a path to citizenship here. But I do want to say in late September here, the Justice Department said it would again begin processing applications for DACA, for first-time DACA applicants. Give me your thoughts about this recent move here by the Justice Department.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that came to a surprise to us, the fact that they're willing to reopen this program for so many people. Now we're just waiting to see what the judge says in that case. So far, the status quo remains, so they're not opening up new applications. But if that is the case and they do reopen them, I think it's a good step, but we have to remember this is not legal status. And the most important thing for this population to do is to speak with an immigration attorney and really understand if there are ways to seek lawful status, permanent status, and that's what my project does here in the Bay Area.
So what is a path that you would recommend to DACA recipient to get legal status in this country? Because as of right now, if you're a DACA recipient, as far as many of us know, you just sit in this weird limbo where you can work here. At least in most states, Texas is trying to, make it so you can't work in that state. But most other states, if you're a DACA recipient, you can work, you can own a home, these type of things, but you will always live in this limbo of not being able to have any kind of permanent status here in the United States.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So deferred action is just protection from deportation. You're not allowed to vote. You're not allowed to travel outside of the country unless you have permission. So the most important thing is to try to see if you're eligible for lawful status. And we have seen that, especially with this population, our project focuses on whether their employers can sponsor them for work visas that lead to lawful status. And we've seen about 81% being eligible for those.
So that is a possibility. What are some of the other possibilities for a DACA recipient to possibly get some sort of a legal status, a permanent legal status here in the country?
Yeah, outside of work visas, you also see family petitions. So some people can some family members, U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents can sponsor DACA recipients. We also know that there's humanitarian relief. But again, the most important thing is to really, like, you go to a doctor every so often for this population to do the same thing, especially right now with so many policies changing every day.
All right. Krsna Avila, Legal Director of Path to Papers at Cornell Law School. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.